Okay, so first you will pick your picture, and we're going to crop it. So you're going to left-hand click and then hit crop image if you want the image to be smaller. So for me, I'm going to cut my daughter out so that it's just a self-portrait. So right now I'm just making my image a little bit smaller. So like cutting her out so it's just my face. If you want yours to be like multiple people, you don't have to do this if you have another person in your picture. And then I'm going to zoom in so it's a little bit bigger. Sorry, my face is like a little cut off. I'm really bad at making videos. All right, so I am cropping it. Now I'm going to turn the image so that it's as big as I can get it. So if you're in Google Slides, your image is going to be the biggest if you have your screen, if you have it sideways. So I just turned it. Now I turn my computer and now I'm going to trace it. So I'm just putting the paper on top of my face. And I'm just going to trace over the lines now. I usually start with the eye when I'm drawing. So I'm just tracing the basic shapes. I would trace it first and then go back in and add like details. So I'm just tracing like kind of like the basic shapes right now. And then afterwards I'll go back and add like a little bit more detail. Because some things you're not going to be able to see through your paper to see. All right, so if you need to like flip your paper up to see like what the details are, that's what I just did there, just to see like what it actually looks like, because some details are going to be hard to see through the paper. All right, so now I'm just going to be tracing for the next few minutes. I'm using marker just so you guys can see it, but if I would use a pencil so that you can go back and erase if you want. So if you make any mistakes, you can erase them. But just so you can see, I'm using a marker. So you can see the smile was a little bit hard to see again, so I flipped the paper up so I could see like what my lips actually look like. For my hair is curly, so I'm just kind of adding lines in, like kind of wavy lines. Not exactly tracing, just kind of adding in lines to show that it's my hair. You may just give your hair kind of like a shape. Like follow whatever shape your hair is. All right, so now that my drawing is finished, I'm going to plan out like what papers I'm going to use, or drawings or pictures I'm going to use to add to my collage. And now I'm going to paint my base, or paint like my cardboard. Yours is going to be a little different than mine. So if you are painting, you want to use a very, very small amount of paint. A little bit of paint goes a very long way. So I'm just pouring out a tiny bit of colors. I'm doing blue and red and going to mix them to be light blue and pink. So I'm using white, blue, and red. And like I said, just a tiny, tiny dot of paint. You guys don't need a lot. Alright, so now that I have my paint poured, I'm just going to mix my colors. So white and red makes pink, and then blue and white makes light blue. So I'm just mixing those two colors. So those are going to be the base for my painting. Now I'm going to do just like kind of like a messy style of painting. So I'm just using the two colors and I'm going back and forth between the two. Just to kind of fill the space so that it's not that brown color. So we're covering up the whole cardboard so that it looks more like a finished painting. But if you look, you want to make sure you're just putting a tiny, tiny bit of paint on your paintbrush. If you do too much, the cardboard is going to start to like warp or like kind of bend. So I'm just putting a tiny, tiny bit of paint on my paintbrush and just filling the whole space and going back and forth between the two colors. This can be kind of messy. Because this is collage, it does not have to be like perfect. You're not doing anything like, you're not doing like a perfect painting. Going back and forth, filling the whole page. I'm not even like blending my colors together. I'm just kind of filling it with colors. And we'll talk about this in class, but you want to make sure you're using two colors that are close to each other on the color wheel. If you use two colors that are across from each other on the color wheel, you're going to get like a brown tone. So it's important to use three colors, white being one of them, and then two colors that are very close to each other on the color wheel. So you could use red or blue like I'm using. You could use blue and yellow, or you could use yellow and red. Alright, so now I finished painting and I'm just going to lay in my different shapes and pictures and kind of mix and match until I get them where I want them to be on my canvas. So I'm just layering in different ways, adding different shapes. And then I would glue all of these down once you have like your layout set and what you want. If you want to add like different like elements like fake flowers or beads or things like that, this is when you would just kind of layer them on and glue them down with hot glue.